Good afternoon and welcome to the second session of the Fall Lunch and Learn series. These engaging sessions are proudly presented by Community Futures Entre-Corp, dedicated to serving Medicine Hat area, along with Community Futures Chinook, serving the Tabor, Brooks, and Milk River Warner regions. My name is Grace Evans, for those of you who do not know who I am. I'm the Digital Service Squad team member for Community Futures Chinook and Entre-Corp. As the Digital Service Squad team member, I provide small businesses with free support for online marketing, website development, social media, and so much more. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everyone joining me today for our Lunch and Learn session on Phoneography. Just a few housekeeping things before I begin. I just want to remind everyone that you can ask questions. The Q&A section is located on the right of your screen. And if you'd like to watch the presentation in full screen, there is a little button at the top right corner of the presentation. And lastly, this session is being recorded and will be provided to everyone post-event, as well as be posted on our Community Futures Entre-Corp and Chinook YouTube channel. All right, so to hop into it, the first thing I'm going to go into today is framing. So a little framing goes a long way. Framing for photos on your phone is an essential aspect of mobile photography that can significantly impact the quality of your pictures. The first step in framing is turning on your grid on your phone. So if you don't have your grid already set up on your phone, I've provided the following instructions to help you set that up, whether you're an Apple user or an Android user. The steps on the screen are how you will setting up these grid lines, as you can see in the photo here on your phone, as well as it's just a Google away if you can't figure it out. I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there on turning on your grids. And remember, as I just stated, there will be a recording and this presentation will be provided to you post-event. So if there's any instruction today that's provided on the presentation that you miss, don't worry about rushing. It will be provided to you afterwards. So yes, setting up your grids, that is the first tip and tool I'll be providing you today. Next, I'm going to talk about knowing your shot. So consider the intended platform for the photo that you'll be utilizing your photo on. So when I say platform, I mean, are you taking it for an Instagram story? Are you taking it for your Instagram feed? Are you taking it for Twitter? Are you taking it for Facebook? Consider your platform and then also consider the orientation of your phone. So as most of you know, the ratios and aspects of each platform are very different. So for photography for your Instagram story, you're going to be more looking at this up and down vertical photography, where if you're thinking of a Facebook post, Instagram post, anything going to your feed, you may want to take something that's horizontal. The reason I tell you to consider the orientation is because you want to avoid the platform that you're intending to put it on from cropping it weird and taking out things that maybe you intended to be in the photo. What I like to suggest to avoid any of this is when you are taking a photo, take one this way and take one this way. So taking one landscape, taking one portrait, that way you have options. So if you maybe don't know where you intend to use this photo in the future, make sure you have one of each orientation. That would be my tip for knowing your shot and maybe where you plan to use it. Next, we're going to talk about fundamentals. So this isn't just fundamentals for phone photography. This is fundamentals for photography in general. So the rule of thirds is a fundamental concept in photography that can lead the more visually appealing and balanced composition. It's a great starting point for beginners and a valuable tool for experienced photographers. It involves dividing an image into 9 equal parts, as we can see in the photo here. 1, 2, 3, and we have 9 equal sections here. So the idea is to place the key elements of your photo along the lines or in the intersections of the lines, which I refer to as hotspots. So we can see that the hotspots are all highlighted here. So we see that this little boy, he sits right on this hotspot here. So the rule of thirds is all about framing and placing your most important piece or key element of your photo along these lines or on the hotspots of these lines, which are the intersections. An example of this would be when you're taking a landscape photo, for instance. Consider placing the horizon of your photo along the horizontal grid lines. For instance, if you have a beautiful sky photo, beautiful prairie sky photo, you're going to want to position the horizon along one of these horizontal lines. And for instance, if you have something very interesting in the foreground, you're going to want to place the more interesting part in front and the horizon along the top. If you just have a big, beautiful open sky, you're going to want to include the horizon along this lower third line so that you really get your eyes drawn forward. This is a rule that will help you just create more visually interesting photos that really hone in on highlighting that key element of your photo. However, breaking the rule is allowed in this case. While the rule of third is a helpful guideline, it's not a strict rule. Sometimes placing your subject in the center of the photo or deviating from the grid can create a unique and impactful composition. So don't be afraid to experiment and break the rule when it serves your creative vision. However, I like to outline the rule of thirds because I think it's a good place to start. Next, I'm going to be talking about investing in smartphone accessories that will help enhance your phone photography. So investing in smartphone photography accessories can significantly enhance the quality of your mobile photography and open up new creative possibilities. Some popular smartphone photography accessories to consider may be a tripod or mount. So a stable base is so important. This will help you take clear, high quality, non-blurry photos. And if you're a person like me that kind of shakes, a tripod will save almost all your photos. So a stable base is essential for capturing any sharp photo, especially in low light conditions or for long exposure shots. Look for a tripod that is designed specifically for a smartphone, or you can look for a mount that will attach to a regular tripod. Both of these options are great. Both will provide you with a stable base, but they're great to have around, especially too if you're kind of a one-man show and you're wanting to take group shots that include yourself. A tripod can also be super valuable for that, and you can set timers. You can take photos based on timers on your Apple Watch if that's something you have. So there's lots of different options, and I promise you a tripod is a great investment and a lot more reliable than leaning a phone up against a carton of milk or up in a stack of books. I've done it all. I've seen it all. And the best thing to do is just buy a tripod because it is way more dependable than that milk carton or stack of books. Next, I'm going to talk about the ring light. So this guy over here, or an LED panel. So a portable ring light or an LED panel can improve the quality of your smartphone portraits and videos by providing an even and adjustable lighting. So most ring lights come with different settings. Usually a white light a blue light and a warm yellow light, as well as most ring lights allow you to adjust from bright to low, kind of go along that contrast, so allow you to have more a diffused light versus something more aggressive. So it's great that way. And they're great for capturing people and portraits and people's faces. So often you see them with selfies or interview pictures. That's when I see a lot of use of ring lights, as well as in industries such as salons and anyone who works in the health and wellness industry. A lot of times you'll see ring lights used to provide that nice, even lighting when it comes to makeup artists trying to show before and after photos, eyelash technicians, hair salons. You often see that they have a ring light for their photography in these instances, but I've also seen it used for product photography as well. It's great to have kind of around, as in some areas you can't control the lighting, and it's a good, easy, accessible tool you can just bring in, turn on, and then you have control of the lighting in an area or environment that you might have more aggressive LED lighting and that sort of thing. So it is a great tool. Next, I'm going to talk about the light box, also known as a photography light tent or a photo studio box. This is a huge, valuable tool for product photography. It helps create a controlled and diffused environment, which can greatly improve the quality of your photos in several ways, especially your product photography. I find this tool especially valuable for people who are trying to do flat lay photography or specific product shots. You can throw your props, you can throw all your stuff into this light box, and it's a controlled area that will make a really nice, smooth product shots. And like I said, for flat lays, typically these photo boxes have a hole in the top of them, which will allow you to shoot straight down, which creates a great environment to get that perfect flat lay photo. Lastly, I'm going to talk about this selfie stick here. It's a useful tool for taking self-portraits, group photos, and videos with your smartphone or even your camera. I like to call this the on-the-go accessory. So if you're going to an event and you'd like to grab some content for your small business, this is an awesome tool because it will allow you to have a nice, stable place to take photos of yourself, to take photos and videos of the event that are nice and clear, not blurry, and it's nice, light, accessible. You can fold it up, you can stick it in your purse. So that's why I like to call it the on-the-go accessory. So whether you're a casual photographer or a serious enthusiast, these accessories can help you capture stunning photos at the end of the day and videos with your smartphone. Next, lighting, and I can't stress this enough, is one of the most critical aspects of smartphone photography, and it's important that you do not overestimate it. So proper lighting can make the difference between a stunning, professional-looking photo and one that appears dull and unappealing. To maximize the importance of lighting in smartphone photography, consider factors like what time of day is it, the direction of the natural light, and the use of artificial lighting, like I've discussed, like a ring light or a photo box or an LED panel. Experimenting with different lighting conditions and techniques will help you develop your photography skills and capture stunning images on your smartphone. Each type of lighting has its advantages and considerations, and the choice between them depends on the specific goals and circumstances of your photograph. Ultimately, the choice between natural and artificial light depends on your specific photography goals, location, subject, and available equipment. Many photographers can use a combination of both natural and artificial lighting to achieve the desired look and feel of their photos. Next, I'm going to talk about over and underexposed photos. Over and underexposed photos are common photographic terms that describe the exposure of an image, which is the amount of light that reaches the camera's sensor. So achieving proper exposure is a fundamental skill in photography. While some creative situations may call for intentionally overexposing or underexposing to achieve a specific effect, in most cases, you'll want to ensure the photos are well exposed, like this photo in the middle, to capture the desired detail and convey your intended message that you decide to with the photo at hand. So over here on this side, we can see a little example of how to adjust your exposure on your phone. So all you out there, if you have your phone handy, I'd just encourage you to grab it and try this out. So once you go into your photo app, you're going to want to tap on the subject and up will pop this yellow square. So how you're going to adjust your exposure is as simple as once you touch that middle part and you see that little sunshine pop up, you're going to want to scroll it up and down. And this will help you adjust the exposure of your photo. So as you scroll down, you'll notice your camera gets darker. And as you scroll up, you'll see your camera gets lighter. And this is how you control your exposure on your phone. Again, this is something you might want to practice, but it's very, very valuable tool, I find, for events, especially dark events. It'll allow you to up the exposure and allow more lighting into your photo, so you're not having a really dark, gloomy, dull photo, especially I find at conference centers and events and things like that. They can be really low lit, and this camera tip has really helped me with my photography in those settings because it allows you to control the lighting a little bit more versus just using what's at hand, which might not be very good lighting. So practice that. Like I said, this will be provided to you afterwards, but it's a really kind of cool trick to bring the lighting up and down, as lighting, as I've stressed, is so important when it comes to your phone photos. Next, I'm going to talk about shooting in RAW. So basically, RAW format is just a higher quality image. So shooting in RAW format on your cell phone can be a powerful option for a mobile photography enthusiast, like all of you are, who want to have a more control over their image editing and post-processing. So RAW images really let you have more control over your post-production and editing. Shooting in RAW allows you to have higher quality images, flexibility in editing, and no loss of quality. However, they take up a ton of storage. So just a little tip there, if you're shooting in RAW, maybe it's only for certain things, because I promise you it will fill up your storage on your phone very fast if you're always shooting in RAW. Shooting in RAW format on your cell phone can be a rewarding experience if you're interested in taking your mobile photography to the next level and are willing to invest a little bit of time in post-processing and editing. Think of shooting in RAW as if you have a camera in your hand. Shooting in RAW allows you to have a more high-quality image and will be the highest quality of image your phone can produce. And just as I have on there, not all smartphones support RAW format, so that's just something to consider, but definitely something to check out. Next, I want to talk a little bit about editing. So post-processing and photo editing are essential steps in modern photography, whether you're using a smartphone or a dedicated camera. There's some reasons why you wouldn't want to edit your photos afterwards, and this includes enhancing the creativity of a photo, correcting flaws like hair across someone's face, maybe a little hair halo, blemishes. Those might be reasons you want to adjust in post-production, highlighting subject, so blurring out backgrounds, creating a better foreground. These are all things you can do in post-production. mood and atmosphere. This is things you can adjust by even just bringing up and down the lighting, adjusting the temperature can adjust the mood of your photo. So playing around with things like that. Consistency is another reason you would want to maybe edit your photos so that when you are posting to Instagram, you're posting to Facebook, your editing style across all your photos is the same, which kind of gives them a similar feel and consistent look. Often you see that with like clothing brands and lifestyle brands. Even though the photos are all very different, you can tell they have a very similar editing style, which gives them that consistent look. Lastly, we have rescue poor lighting. So even though lighting is so important, and I stress to get it right as you're taking the photos, you can rescue it later with a little bit of post-production. And lastly, personalization. So adding some personalized touches in Photoshop or Lightroom that make it really look like your photo is another reason people bring it in and edit it and use post-production. However, editing is an option. It cannot save a bad photo. So always, I want to stress this, take a good photo, take a clear photo, take a high quality photo, because fixing a blurry photo is nearly impossible. So if you get a good, clear photo, bringing it in to edit is going to be way easier than trying to rescue a flop of a photo, a blurry photo. So just keep that in mind when it does come to editing. It's always best to just take a good photo and then have the option to edit and adjust versus taking a photo that is blurry, or all sorts of things can go wrong in photos. So just keep that in mind when taking photos. Lastly, practice every day. Photography is an art, so keep that in mind. With an art form thrives through consistent practicing and dedication to it. Whether you're a photographer to enhance your small business or for personal satisfaction, engaging in daily photography exercises on your smartphone is a straightforward and effective way to approach and really advance your skills and your creativity. Lastly, this is one last tip I want to give you is always remember to back up your photos. Backing up your photos is a crucial step in safeguarding your digital memories, preventing the data loss, and ensuring that photographic efforts are all protected and accessible for years to come. So this is your cloud storage like Google Drive, Google Photos, Dropbox, OneDrive, or a external storage of some sort like a USB drive or an external hard drive. Those are great options to back up your photos, and I can't stress it enough. Back up, back up, back up. And lastly, I just want to end with that reminder that while these tips can be helpful with your photos that you take on your phone, photography is an art form, so feel free to break the rules and explore your creativity. Let your creativity fly. You don't have to post every photo you take. So going back to that practicing every day, the more photos you take, the more options you will have for your small business to post and use in your content. Just take photos of everything. That is my advice to everyone, is get your phone out, take pictures of everything. So I just want to thank everyone for joining me today. That ends our presentation on phonography. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section. So my first question is I don't always take photos or videos in the moment. How do you feel about post photo shoots or stock images? So I get asked this question actually pretty frequently. I'd say the pros to a controlled environment are that you can have a consistent look to your photos. So posed photos definitely give you that one up on being able to control what's happening, control what everything's looking like. So that's great. So on your website and on your social media, there'll be a consistent look to how the photos are. Planning, having a good bank of posed photos from a photo shoot kind of creates a bank. So you're not stressing all the time about that on the go posting. It kind of gives you a good bank of content that you could sit down and plan out your social media strategy, right? You'd have a good bank of photos that you can schedule out, and that kind of puts your social media and your marketing at back of mind, which I always encourage, because the number one thing I always hear from small business owners is I just don't have the time. So scheduling social media content and having that bank of stuff to use is always great for saving time. So that's where post photo shoots can be really helpful. As in terms of stock images, I know sometimes you have no other option. However, organic content is going to do so much better, especially using pictures of people from your business that people are going to recognize and interact with and be like, oh, I saw that person in the store, or that's the person that came and fixed my heating, or those sorts of things. It really helps with customer relationship to use your own organic photos. However, as someone who uses stock photos pretty frequently, I know that it is sometimes unavoidable. So I'd say use them legally. So using sites like Unsplash, Pexels, but don't get in a habit of using them maybe too often, because it will take away from the organic and friendly feel of your social channels. And I'll just put out there too that there is a good mix. So post photos, stock photos, but also throwing in some candid stuff will help with the friendlier feel of your overall look of your brand and your content. So combine post shots with candid ones will help you maintain that balance and will give you a look people can relate to. Next question is, do you have to spend a lot of money on these accessories? My advice, I guess, would be for that is some of them can be quite pricey. However, there is options on Amazon. I'd shop around, because things like ring lights and tripods can be very, very affordable. So I just look at options. I wouldn't run to Best Buy and just buy whatever they give you. Shop around, look at what your options are, and maybe just buy one at a time. Don't go out and buy the whole lot of accessories I mentioned today, but maybe you buy a selfie stick and then you buy a tripod, and you kind of gain on your collection as you get more comfortable with using the accessories in general. Things like the lighting accessories I mentioned today, they take a little bit to get used to. So just take your time, learn how to use each tool as you get it, and kind of grow into the next tool. That'd be my advice kind of for purchasing. That's what I've done personally over the years, is just buy one, learn how to use it, become an expert at using my ring light, and then move on to something that maybe will enhance my photography even a little bit further. But yeah, in terms of money, shop around. There is lots of affordable options. Like I said, Amazon will be your best friend for any of the accessories I mentioned today. Next question. Do you have any tips for maximizing my phone storage when I have too many photos and videos? As I mentioned, backup. Backing up your photos and videos is going to optimize your storage beyond anything. A couple tips there would be, like I said, cloud storage. So Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, those are all great things to look into. And if you have any questions about those tools, you can come to me at DSS, and I'd be happy to sit down and help you show you how to use those tools. Another key tip to when using those things is keeping your personal and your business things separate. So having a email that has a Google Drive strictly for your small business and all that content is really going to help maximize storage. So exporting all your photos onto that drive from your phone will help clear up some space that way. And creating albums that one personal, one small business, that will also help you tremendously when it comes to optimizing storage. You can kind of pick and choose what's important, what's not important, deleting some things. And lastly, if you're finding that you're running out of storage, maybe look at doing a device cleanup. Delete any unnecessary photos on your phone, screenshots of your home screen, or the photos taken of the inside of your purse. Kind of go through, do a cleanup of that, and that will definitely help with the cleaning up and optimization of storage in your device.